So what in the world is this FICO credit score thing everyone and every lender is talking about? How is it used? Why do I even care? And why in the world does John Jones, the fourth to his name, of the fifth grandfather of the Duke heiress of the Grand Canyon Islands in the newest Hampshire, the District of California, make less money than I do, live in the same cookie cutter house, yet pays $300 less? In this video, I will go over exactly what a FICO credit score is, how it is determined, and how this might be the most important financial video you've ever watched in your life. Coming up.
Tell me, how does it feel living that good life? Never ever really have to think twice.
What's going on, fam? Justin Hauser here, and welcome to my channel where I go over everything from personal finance to business to entrepreneurship. So if you like to make that money, keep that money, invest that money, and then spend that money, you must help that YouTube algorithm below. Smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you will not miss any of my future videos. Also, feel free to check the description below for show notes, links to recommended products, and anything that I might have forgot to mention in this video. So let's get into what is a FICO credit score, how do they determine it, and why I should even care. A FICO credit score is the most common credit score and factor that's commonly used by lenders here in the United States of America. Every minute, hundreds of lenders are using this score, a single number between 300 and 850, to better understand the credit risk of someone so they can make a better informed decision on whether to loan out that money, and if so, at what terms. Basically, a FICO credit score tells the lender the likelihood of you actually paying your bills on time based on your credit history. A good analogy of this is the NFL, or the National Football League. The NFL is by far the most popular sport in America, and it is also very lucrative. In 2018 alone, the NFL generated $15 billion in revenue and is planning on boosting that up to $25 billion by 2027. In fact, the average NFL team is valued at more than $2.5 billion. As you can imagine, there's a lot of factors that go into valuing a team, and one of the highest factors is winning. If you were to look at the top two valued teams right now in the NFL, it's the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots. They have a long history of winning. Well, kind of. Sorry, Cowboy fans, I need to rephrase that. You do have a long history of winning, just not recently. In order to win in the NFL, you need to have great coaches and great players. How is this done? Through credit checks and see what the FICO credit score is, right? Not entirely true, but you can correlate the two, so let me explain. The U.S. lenders are the NFL football teams, and you, the person trying to get the loan, is an NFL player, or a college player right now. College players' goal is to not only get drafted or get approved for the loan, but to get drafted first, or to get the best rate possible on this loan. So the players who get drafted first always have the best performance history or credit history than the competing players. They are proven stars at their particular position. If they're the best, they get drafted early or get the best loan rates. If they are good but not great, they'll still get drafted or still get approved for the loan just later on in the draft or get an average loan rate. If they do not have a good history and their performance is lackluster, they will not get drafted or not even approved for the loan. I hope this analogy helped you understand what it is, and if it did, could you drop a comment below telling me and just confirming of how bad the Cowboys really are and who your favorite football team is.
I don't understand why the hell you still a Dallas Cowboys fan any damn way. Can't win, and every year you get just like this.
Oh, I can't take this shit!
So remember, a FICO credit score is a number between 300 to 850 that determines the likelihood that you'll pay your bills back on time. It's kind of like an SAT score, the higher the better. The credit score is determined by your credit information and a few other factors such as salary and age, and it's housed at three main credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So how is a FICO number determined? There are 5 factors that will ultimately determine what your FICO credit score is: payment history, amounts owed, length of credit history, new credit, and types of credit. The first one that we're going to go over is payment history. This makes up 35% of your score and is the biggest factor. How reliable are you? Tommy Lee, a principal scientist at FICO, said, FICO scores consider the frequency, recency, and severity of reported missed payments. So in other words, simply pay your bills consistently and on time. The second biggest factor, and also making up 30% of your score, is amounts owed. This is the percentage of available credit that has been borrowed. This is also referred to as credit utilization. Let's say that you have a credit card with a $10,000 limit and you got a balance of $3,000. This means that you have a credit utilization rate of 30%. There's not a benchmark on what FICO considers good or bad, but a lot of researchers have pinpointed to say that you should stay under 30%. But just like a golf score, the lower the better. The third factor that makes up 15% of your score is the length of credit history. This refers to the length of time that an account has been open and also the length that the account's most recent action.
How can I improve this if I'm just starting and have no credit?
A credit card is always a great way to start, but please listen to this. Please, please, please pay it off full before the end of the billing cycle. It makes absolutely no sense to pay 25% interest, 30% interest, 15% interest on your most recent Starbucks or Supreme purchase.
Large black coffee.
Do you mean a venti?
No, I mean a large.
He means a venti. Yeah, the biggest one you got.
Venti is large.
No, venti is 20.
Number 4, new credit. This makes up 10% of your FICO score. This does not mean to go to Macy's, to Amazon, to Apple, Best Buy, Microsoft, just open up a whole bunch of store cards, as this could actually hurt you tremendously, as it could suggest that you are in financial trouble by needing such access to credit. Open up accounts only as needed, and again, make your payments on time and consistently. And the fifth factor that helps determine your FICO credit score is types of credit. This accounts for 10% of your score, and this is determined by your credit mix. Your mix should include a variety of revolving loans, such as credit card, and installment loans, such as an auto loan. It is extremely easy to check your credit history and score. In fact, by law, you are allowed to obtain your credit history for free once per year at www.annualcreditreport.com. So why is it important to have such a high FICO credit score? It could save you thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in the near future. How? By having a higher credit score, it tells the lenders that you are more trustworthy to pay back their money.
But Justin, I don't need a loan of any sort. I'm fine. I'm good. I don't need it. It's okay.
Well, what about in 3 years? In 5 years? In 10 years? What about a new car, a new house, or a medical injury that sidelined you from working? If you remember at the beginning of the video, I said that I not only want to make you financially stable, but rich. The rich plan before they need to plan. Let me say that one more time, because when I first heard this, it took me a few times to fully grasp what this sentence is saying. The rich plan before they need to plan. Now listen to this stat. In a recent survey in 2018, the Chicago Tribune reported that almost 40% of Americans have less than $1,000 in an emergency fund. And what's even more crazy, the survey also reported that a staggering 23% of these Americans have less than $100 saved for a car repair or medical expense. How good of a loan do you think that you'll get if you cannot even come up with the required minimum 20% down payment for a house or even a car? To more emphasize on the importance of having a high FICO credit score, look at the following graph. Look at the difference you will pay for a $300,000 30-year mortgage in interest alone based on your credit score. With a lower end score of 620 to 639, you would have to pay over $638,377 for this $300,000 house. However, with a higher end score of 760 to 850, you would pay $533,130 for this house. This is a savings of over $105,000 saved in interest alone.
Say what?
So there it is. What a FICO credit score is, how it is determined, and why I should even care. Look, I hope you really enjoyed this video. And if you did, could you smash that like button and subscribe below? Time for the question of the day. What was your biggest takeaway from today's video, outside of how bad the Cowboys are in football? Answer below in the comments and let me know, as I would love to connect with each and every one of you. Be on the lookout for the upcoming videos, as I will be discussing in detail how to beat the credit card companies at their own game. Thank you for being part of the community. I'll see you on the next video.